Kate Gibble, and I'm joined now with Brian Katten, who's going to catch you up on this week's sports happenings here at Wesleyan. He's going to do his usual Brian's Blitz, and he has 5 minutes to get you all caught up.
Wow, 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll take 10. No, we're going to start on the ice. It's cold outside, so we're going to go with the frozen tundra sports at Wesleyan and look at a couple of fairly good results for men's and women's ice hockey this past weekend. We'll start with the women who went up to Hamilton, or over to Hamilton, depending on how you look at it, and split with the Continentals, winning the first game 2-1 and then dropping the second game by the same score. Very balanced game in the second game. Shots 25-20 in favor of Hamilton. They had the 2-0 lead. Cardinals pulled their goalie, Ashley Corvey, in the last minute, and within 7 seconds after Mackenzie McPike jumped on the ice and helped set up Alicia White with a goal with 52 seconds to go, and the Cardinals continued to pepper the Hamilton net, trying to get that equalizer in the last 30 seconds or so. Just couldn't find the range and lost that one 2-1. But prior to, the Cardinals scored with about 3 minutes to go in the first game as Kara Jankowski scored both Wesleyan goals and put the Cardinals over the top, specifically because Ashley Corvey had 42 saves in that contest. Cardinals outshot 43-12 in that contest the first time against Hamilton, but Ashley held the fort, and the Cardinals got a very important split. They're now 2-10 in the conference. They're going up to Colby this next weekend to play a 2-10 Colby squad. Whichever team wins twice will get the final seed in the NESCAC tournament. The other one will probably be staying home. If they split, there are going to be some ramifications, so we'll see what happens. I know Coach McKenna is getting her team primed for a sweep. The men's team went up to Middlebury and Williams. Had a 3-3 tie with Middlebury midway through the third period, but Middlebury scored the last 3 goals to win 6-3. So the Cardinals down a little bit, and Nick Craven did not have a point, which ended his 15-game streak with a point in 15 consecutive games. An amazing performance for him, along with Keith Bueller, the leading scorer for the Cardinals. So they go into Williams, team they lost to by a goal at home, and forge a 0-0 tie. Cardinals outshot 46-26, but in goal, the freshman, Nolan Daly, 46 saves over 65 minutes. He's got a 2.36 goals against average, a .930 save percentage, a 4-1-2 record as a freshman, doing a great job working with Glenn Stoll, the senior, learning from him and taking it a step up, which is just fantastic. First time in 50 contests between Wesleyan and Williams that the Cardinals had a shutout against the East. So that's just fantastic. Of course, it's a shame Wesleyan didn't score 0-0 tie, but we'll take it. Cardinals firmly in 6th place in the NESCAC rankings. It's going to be tough for them to elevate from that point, but we'll just have to see what happens. They could be playing a Trinity or perhaps Williams again in the NESCAC tournament, depending on how Middlebury does. Bowdoin seems to have a pretty good lock on first place in the conference. We'll see how that goes. But good performance for men's women's ice hockey. Moving on to women's basketball, heading out to Hamilton after losing to Amherst midweek in a very low-scoring contest, losing 46-30, held Amherst to 2 baskets. Amherst ranked 3rd in the country, undefeated, held them to 2 baskets in the second half in a great defensive effort. Actually outscored them in the second half 18-14, but they were down 32-12 at the time. Not getting a heck of a lot of scoring across the board, but kind of a balanced attack. Then they headed out to Hamilton. They were up 20-19 at halftime, ended up losing by 11, I believe, on the final score, 57-46. Jackie Brown, the freshman, came off the bench, scored 12 points, made 3 three-pointers, did a nice job, and that's what we're kind of seeing. There are 12 kids that can play for this team on any given day. It's a very balanced squad, and Coach Mullen is playing a lot of players. So we'll just see if they can find the range. They're 2-6 in the conference. They're going to have to win some games this weekend, finishing up with Bowdoin and Colby to get into the tournament. So we're going to skip men's basketball as we have Coach Riley here today, and we're going to skip wrestling as we have a couple of outstanding senior wrestlers here to talk to. So now we're going to move to squash, which played in the NESCAC championship up at Trinity. Each team opened with a nice solid victory, the women beating Conn College 7-2, the men beating Tufts 8-1. So they managed to stay at Trinity, which is always what Wesleyan's been trying to do the last 4 years, and each team has accomplished that, not having to play in the consolations as either a 9, 10, or 11, but staying at Trinity in the main draw. Each went up against a pretty top seed. Wesleyan's men went up against Bates, the 3rd seed, lost 7-2. The women went against 2 seed Williams, lost 8-1. And then came the real matches that the teams were looking for. Rematches against Bowdoin for the women and against Amherst, who Wesleyan's men had beaten twice in the last 2 weekends. Men dropped a 5-4 decision, just a heartbreaker, and if you check the scores, a lot of close matches. Women came through with a 5-4 victory over Bowdoin. that put them 1 seed higher. They were fighting for 5th or 6th place. They were seeded 7th. The men had been seeded 6th. Now they were fighting for 7, 8, and the men defeated Hamilton 7-2 to take 7th seed, which is fine. And the women went up against Amherst. Now we're talking another team that Wesleyan had lost to 2 consecutive weekends on the women's side. Now we're looking at a score of 8-1 for Amherst, and everyone would think, wow, that's a runaway. The top 3 players for Wesleyan all lost 3-2. The next 3 players for Wesleyan all lost 3-1. So they all had the ability to beat Amherst, and it was just a titanic struggle. But Amherst came away with the W's. We do want to compliment on the men's side. Number 2, Guy Davidson, went 4-0 over the NESCAC tournament. I believe he may be 12-0 at number 2 since John Steele returned from abroad as our number 1 player, 2-time All-NESCAC. And on the women's side, 2 lower seed individuals. It was Nell Schwed, right, playing at number 8. She was 3-1, and Liza Velas at number 9, the freshman, went 3-1 as well. So they were slightly better than the team, which went 2-2. Good performances across the board.
It's really great. I'm gonna have to. We're at our 5-minute limit.
Are we already?
Yeah, already. It's surprising to me too.
No way. I
well,
still
you know
have
me.
swimming.
I could listen to this for
Kara
ages.
Coco-Iberl and Angela Slevin, great job for swimming against Coast Guard. We had a NESCAC Player of the Week in, good grief, Roxy Capron. Got NESCAC Player of the Week in swimming, women's swimming rather, sorry about that. So we do want to give recognition to her.
Great job, Roxy. It's a great week to be a Cardinal.